Hello everyone. In this video I want to talk about the Hack Radiology Informatics program and how things work and what its purpose is, and kind of be a tips and tricks, some things you need to know that will help you have a easier journey through the Hack Radiology Informatics program. So the purpose of this program is to give you a killer resume. You could go out right now and apply for PACS administrator jobs, risk system administrator jobs. You could apply right now for those jobs, but you'd never get through the interview. You wouldn't be able to answer the DICOM questions. You don't know anything about HL7 or IHE. We're going to give you all of the information you need and a great resume with a certification so that you can go out and compete for these jobs. That's the purpose, to get you ready to go compete for these jobs. Everything we do is towards that goal. Along those lines, there are two types of content in the program. There is A, practical knowledge you need to know to do the job, and B, certification knowledge you need to know to pass the certification exam. Everything we do, everything we teach you falls into one of those two categories. It's either practical knowledge you need to do the job or certification knowledge. In a couple weeks we're going to do a module on gigabytes, megabytes, kilobytes, terabytes. It's called bits and bytes. And that is not something you really need to talk about in the day-to-day workings of a PACS administrator. You're not going to sit around and talk about whether that network is running on megabits or kilobits. But you need that information for the certification knowledge, and that's why it's in the course. So, two types of content, everything fits into those. Speaking of the certification, when you finish the program, you will sit for the Certified PACS Associate or CPAS certification from PARCA. Last March, PARCA was purchased by SIM, the Society of Imaging Informatics in Medicine. I know those acronyms don't mean anything to you yet. They will. The last 2 semesters you will take courses to prepare you to take the certification exam. Just know that it's built by PARCA. PARCA is now owned by SIM. You'll go to the SIM website to take the certification exam. It's online. And again, in the prep courses, we'll talk all about those things and get you all ready for it. In the program, you will have to complete discussion posts. The discussion posts a lot of time will be feedback for me to make sure you're learning what you need to learn from a lecture or what you read in a chapter in a textbook. If we were in the classroom, I could look around the room and ask, is everybody getting this? And then everybody would nod, or everybody would look at me with blank stares, and I'd have that feedback loop to know if everyone was picking up the knowledge they needed. I don't have that in an online class, so I use discussion posts to put a question out there, get everyone's feedback. I read all your discussion posts. If you're giving me the right answer, if the feedback is good and you're right on track, I probably won't respond. I read all your posts. I very rarely respond because most of the time you guys are getting it. So just don't be alarmed if I'm not responding to your posts. Knowledge checks. Knowledge checks serve as your study guide for a particular course. They help you pick out what's important and what's not. So, is everything in chapter 1 of the book important? No. Is everything in chapter 1 equally important? Absolutely not. How do you know? Having never studied DICOM, how do you know what are the important things that show up on my test and later on the certification exam? Knowledge checks. You'll fill these out. You'll check the answers the next week. You don't need to turn them in. You don't need to submit them for a grade. They're not work you need to do for grades. They're simply there to perform a study guide. So when you get to the final, you should have a whole bunch of knowledge checks to serve as your study guide for the final exam and later on for the certification exam. This is one of those things that falls under a tip. Try to be early. Most of the classes go Monday to Sunday. If you turn your work in on Tuesday or Wednesday, I'll check it, give you feedback. You have a second chance to correct it before the end of the week. If you wait till Saturday or Sunday, I don't work on the weekend. I'm not going to check your work until Monday. At that point, you only had one shot at it, right? It's due by Sunday. I'm checking it the next week. So sometimes people mess up the instructions. Sometimes my instructions aren't clear. Sometimes it's as simple as, hey, there's 2 pages in the assignment and you only did page 1. Try to be early. The benefit is you get a second chance. If you turn it in on Tuesday or Wednesday, I'll check it. You have Thursday, Friday, or the weekend to fix it. Late work. So we all have lives. We all have busy lives. There's going to be a time when you're going to need to turn work in late. That's fine as long as you let me know. If it comes down to Saturday, Sunday, you still haven't got your work done for whatever reason's going on in your life, just shoot me an email and say, hey, Professor Erickson, this is going on. I'm going to be late. I can't tell you how many times I've given a 0 on an assignment and the student gets an alert, and then they tell me their sad story. Oh, well, the power went out on Sunday and I couldn't get my assignments turned in. Well, you had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday to get that done. The fact that the power went out on Sunday and you didn't tell me until the following Wednesday, I'm not giving you a break for that. You should have warned me that you were going to be down to Monday. First thing Monday morning, you should have sent me an email that said, oh, by the way, the power went out and I had these other things. In other words, really simply, if you tell me in advance, I'll almost always give you extra time. If you tell me after the fact, no, you get a 0. Points are important. All of your grades are based on points. There's always a range like this in the syllabus. So 2 thresholds I want you to be aware of. 638, if you look at the minimum number of points to get a C, it's 638. Once you get 638 or more, you are going to pass the class. You cannot fail. You've already earned a C. If you have 640 points and you haven't taken the final, and you don't want to, you want the C, you don't have to take the final. Once you're over 638, you're going to pass the class. The other point range I want you to notice is 791 to 850 for an A. Once you get over 791, you're going to get an A in the class. I have never understood why students who have an 846 and miss 2 questions will send me an email and say, I don't think it's fair that I missed these questions. I think I should get credit. Why are you bothering me? When you have an 846, you're going to get an A. It's kind of like running a marathon and going past the finish line and continuing to run. After 791, every point is an A. You don't need to keep working. Just my thoughts. I know some of you will try to get a perfect 850. I evaluate everything you do, and I evaluate it with one thought in mind. Would I hire this person to work for me? Would I hire this person to be a PATS admin? If you are habitually late with your assignments, if you do minimum effort work, when it comes time to give you a recommendation or help you find a job, I'm not going to be very inclined to do that because maybe you weren't a very good student. On the other hand, if you were proactive, you asked good questions, you turned all your assignments in time, and you just killed it, I'm going to be more inclined to help you about finding a job, checking your resume, being a reference, things like that. So just keep in mind, we're going to be together for 18 months, and I'm going to evaluate everything you do with one thought in mind. Would I hire this person? Get the full benefit of your education. You are paying to be here, or the government, or your student loan, somebody's paying for you to be here. Some of you are going to put in the minimal amount of effort. You're going to get busy with lives and everything that goes on in the world, and you're going to put in a minimal level of effort, and you're still going to get an A or a B, and you're just going to pass your way through, and then you're going to graduate and realize you didn't actually learn anything. You are responsible for your education. Ask every question you can think of. I am here to help you. I am here to answer your questions. Take full benefit of having me as a resource for the next 18 months. So those are my tips and tricks. I hope you enjoy your time with the Radiology Informatics program, and I'll see you online. Thank you for watching.